Alright, today we're going to talk about weight and balance. So a couple things that you're going to need to do a proper weight and balance are going to be obviously the weights of your aircraft. Let's see, yeah, right there. Alright, so my school, Lewis, go ahead and they put everything together for you. You got your tail numbers, type of airplane, but here's the important information. Well, that's important too, but the important information down here that we're going to use today, your basic empty weight. So basic empty weight is the weight of the aircraft, the weight of the fluids for the engine minus your fuel capacity, no passengers, just basically the airplane as it sits if it didn't have any fuel in the wings. So that's oil and everything else. So then your maximum takeoff weight for this one, 2,550. Useful load, so you know what you can actually add to the airplane as a load, and then your moment, which tells us what our center of gravity is going to be after we calculate it with the weight. So we've got those numbers. You're going to need a calculator. This is a really rudimentary one, which works fine for this, but obviously I'm recording on my phone, so I can't use that in this demonstration. And then a weight and balance form. So this, again, from the university. Breaks everything down, starts with that basic empty weight like we just talked about, goes over the, let's get a little closer, goes over the pilots and the passengers, rear passengers, every location. I'll show you in the POH, because all these things have different arms, and an arm is basically the multiplier of the force where you put the weight in the aircraft. So it's got all this broken down. We'll go through this, and then at the bottom, it explains or asks you questions basically. Is your aircraft within limits? Is it within the CG? What is the CG? And then your takeoff distances over a 50-foot obstacle and that stuff too. I don't think we'll get to that though. Alright, so here's the POH. So you're going to go to section 6, weight and balance and equipment. And this is the page that we're going to focus on. And here we have our locations. So these are your arms here, CG arm. So 37 for that front row. They have movable seats, so it could be 34 to 30 or 46, but they give you an average there, 37, where you're going to be resting. The rear passenger seat, 73. You can see it's climbing, right? The further you get back, it's climbing because it has a greater force from the center of gravity. The further you get, it's just leverage. So you have that baggage area A, you've got baggage area B. And then it actually shows you the sizes or the locations, like 108 opposed to like the Ford of 82. Locations here, if it's something small and heavy, like all those bricks of gold you're going to be hauling around. And then we have our center of gravity moment envelope, which uses your moment and your weight to see what category you're going to land into once you get done with your calculations. And the same thing, using your center of gravity and your weight to see if you're within the gravity limits. And this dark line obviously is the border, your maxes for stuff like that. Alright, so you need all these things first. So how you start your calculations on your list is we've got to get that basic empty weight, right? They use this sheet. You can find it in your POH that's got your tail number on it. So this one, basic empty weight, we're going to use this tail number down here. Let's just call it 47 Tango. So this basic empty weight, abbreviate that, 1725.1. Okay, so your max is important, but we don't use max for calculations. We use it as reference. You don't use useful load, but you do use your moment. And this one over here, just go ahead and divide these up. 71,907.00. Now you're going to get into decimals and you're going to leave them. You're going to calculate all the decimals that you find, and then at the end you can round up. Usually whatever the safest way to round the number to give you a larger margin of error, basically. You're going to want to go ahead and use those figures. Now, the other calculator in this equation is the arm, right? Because weight times arm gives you the moment, right? So the weight on that force, let's just put rudimentary design here. The weight, whatever you've got, so this, whatever this weighs, this item weighs, at whatever distance, the arm, you know, is your multiplier. So let's just use the front seat, which is 37. So 37 inches. That multiplies and gives you a number, the force. How much is the force is being applied, right? So that's basically, so as the number goes up, that force gets bigger and bigger. So you want to use these numbers to your advantage to get the best performance out of your, and stability out of your aircraft. Okay, so just do a quick calculation, get the gist of it. Very simple, right? So basic empty weight, like I said, and our moment. So all we have to do, right? I said weight times arm equals moment, right? But if you don't have the arm, then you can just divide your moment by your weight and find the arm. So let's punch that in real quick. Alright, so we've got uh, 42.7. Alright, we're back on. Alright, actually this is the wrong number. Sorry about that. I haven't used this calculator really that much. We've got 41.68. Okay. So that's your arm. That's going to go in that first row. Now, once you move down, it's going to ask you for the pilot and the front passenger for that first row. That first row, go to your POH for this one, for the S model and the 172. We got 37 as our arm. So 37 is going to be our arm for our calculation, right? So say you're, I don't know, what's the average? I think the average is like 160 or 180. Let's just go with 160, right? So then we multiply 160 times 37. We get 5,000. Kind of want to keep these lined up. 5,920.00, right? Okay. So then just continue down the list, right? So let's kind of get past those and then go to zero fuel weight, right? So there's a category, couple down, it goes rear passenger baggage, and then zero fuel weight. This zero fuel weight is going to be these categories above it added up, right? So let's use 1725.1 plus 160, right? So this puts us at 1885.1. And we're going to leave the arm alone, right? Because this is kind of change. So what we do is then we go over to moment and add the moments up together. We got 71,907 and plus 5,920, and then that gives us 77,827, right? And then we're going to divide again. Divide. Where's divide on here? Here it is. Divide. Again, 1885.1. Right? And we got 4128.5. So 41, like I said, you want to keep at least 2 decimal spots in here. Might not be able to see this, but it says 4128.5, so this is 29. Right? So that's how you're going to get that figure for that. And then under that, you're going to get your usable fuel, right? So this is empty fuel. This is zero fuel except for whatever is left in the lines in the engine and stuff like that. So this is when you can calculate your fuel, right? So we're going to get 6 pounds. All right, I got to switch. 6 pounds per gallon of fuel. Okay, so right. So this is usable fuel, right? So in the S model, it's 56 total gallons, but only 53 usable gallons of fuel because of the fuel lines and places going to be sitting in place in under those sumps and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't, you can't use it, so that gets calculated above here and then below. So our max number that we can use is 53, right? So 6 pounds per gallon times 53. Let's calculate that. Just go with max because we've only got one pilot and we'll definitely be under. All right, so that's 318. 318. Now the book is going to give you on the bottom note here, usable fuel CG arms located 48. So they give you that one, right? Because that's, you know, solid stationary thing in the airplane. So you can multiply those, find the moment. All right, so times 48, and then so from this line, kind of good that I switch colors. 15 to 64. Okay, and then just keep working down the list. All right, but this is a different one. Startup, taxi, and run up. Right. So this is the fuel that you're actually going to burn while you do your startup, your taxi, and then your engine run up to make sure that all your engine is operating correctly before you take off. So this is going to be a negative, right? You're going to find out whatever average. I think we use 1 point. Oh, this marker's going out. 1.4 gallons, right? So that's 6 times 1.4, and then you're gonna put that number in here, and you might want to use a reminder, like put a negative, like this is going to be negative weight, so you're going to negative that. You're going to skip this one. It's going to be negative moment. I'm not going to skip it because you're pulling it out of there, and you get your negative moment, and then you're going to want to subtract those, right? So this number minus your strut or your startup, takeoff, taxi and run up, and then you're going to end up with your total takeoff weight at the bottom, right? Very important. Get down to that point. So then you'll be able to find your moment, find your total weight, divide it, and then find your center of gravity or your arm, right? So where that weight's going to be applied. So then you're going to want to utilize your other categories, right? You're going to find your moment and then use your moment, right? You could either start with weight or moment and work your way up, and then find your airplane weight and try to be in this weight limit, right? And then I'll tell you either in the utility category or the normal category. Usually the more weight, the more fuel rather that you carry, you'll be up, you'll be in that normal category most of the time. Then you're going to switch over to the center of gravity limit to make sure that you're within the limits of that. All right, so you're going to use your center of gravity, your arm, and then you're gonna find it in here again, and then go up to the total weight in pounds. I don't know, which is going to be, I don't know, right around 2,000 pounds, right? So here's 2,000 pounds, and then let's just say that our arm ended up at like 44. So 44 and 2,000, right about here, right in the center of the normal category. So then you're set to go. And you can notice that for this aircraft, like I said, it's 2,550 pounds. This is 2,550. This line goes right up to that line and matches with that takeoff weight limit, and it even has a note up there as well, just to remind you. So that's the basics of doing a weight and balance. Very important. You need to know how your airplane is going to perform. And this is a great way, very fast way to do it. It's nice to have the forms. Once you find out where to find them or get them, print a bunch out, make sure you have them on you, and just go from there. That's it.